Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to set up the pendulum in the classroom. You're going to be doing this starting tomorrow. So some of the things you're going to need are one of the table bars, which we used when we did some of our other labs, like our pulleys and things like that. You're also going to need a crossbar with the connector. This is set up very similarly to when we did the pulley lab. You're going to need a protractor, which you can see is taped to the crossbar. You're going to need a piece of string. The lab will tell you exactly how long to make the string, but the key is that we don't want the bob mass touching the table. We want it just above the table. You're going to need an S-hook, which is attached to the string down here. And you're going to need 5 paper clips, and then obviously some tape for the protractor. The bob mass is made up of the S-hook and the 5 paper clips. So it's told you in the other notes that when you measure the length, you're measuring from the pivot to the center of the bob mass. This entire thing is the bob mass, the S-hook and the 5 paper clips. So you're going to measure from the pivot point to the center of this bob mass. The pivot point is where the string is attached to the bar right here. So it's your pivot point to the center or approximate center of your bob mass. That's how you're going to measure the length. That'll be important when we start doing our investigations tomorrow. It's important to remember that the protractor needs to line up with 90 degrees, or the string needs to line up with 90 degrees on the protractor. You want to get that centered as best as you can, because we don't want your measurements to be off. So we want to make sure we're going from 90, and then depending on which way you pull here, you're just subtracting that 90 from whatever degree you're pulling from on this side, or on this side you're subtracting it from 90. So if I pulled the string to here, then I would be pulling it 20 degrees, not 70, because I'd have to do 90 minus 70 to give me 20 degrees. Here I'd be pulling it 40 degrees. If I were pulling it this way, and it really doesn't matter which way you pull it, but if I pulled it to this way and I pulled it to 120, I'd be pulling it 30 degrees because 120 minus 90 is 30. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. You should have your notes finished. And once you're done watching the videos, make sure your notes are finished. Make sure that your binder is organized and that you don't need to get caught up on anything else. And then you can just work on something else quietly.